Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Abe Studios, dropping in with another movie review. And the movie I'll be reviewing today is The White Tiger, a 2021 film release written and directed by Ramin Bahrani. An ambitious Indian driver uses his wit and cunning to escape from poverty and rise to the top. An epic journey based on the New York Times bestseller. And so, as the little summary there lets you know that this is a film that is based off a book by the same title, and the author of the book is Aravind Adiga. It focuses on our main character, which is named Balram. The actor that plays Balram in this film is named Adrash Gurav, and he has a great performance throughout the film. I think he has a very, very strong performance. But as we start the film, we are put in a place that kind of seems like this is the starting point, but at the same time, it's really not, as we seem to find out. Balram is telling or writing this story toward a Chinese diplomat that's going to be visiting India to do business, or at least to get some business leads and stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm gathering. And so he wants to tell him his story so that he knows, maybe his savvy, what he's all about, and that he would want to do business with him. And so we have to go back. Balram takes us back, and he takes us back to when he was a young kid living in a village, and he was, in a sense, under his grandmother's care. And so within this village and the surrounding villages, if you don't make it out, at a certain point, you'll never make it out ever. And Balram kind of gives us this idea of comparing it to being a chicken caught in a coop. And you either get out of the coop or you become someone's dinner. And so he's really intense on that. And so he sees what's happened to his brother and sees that he's not getting out, and he doesn't want that same fate to happen on him. And through a little bit of savvy, maybe a little bit of breaking the rules and things like that, he gets the opportunity to become a driver for a wealthy businessman, or more specifically, he becomes the driver for the businessman's son, or that person's name is Ashok, and that's played by Raj Kumar Rao, and he's married to Pinky, and she is played by Priyanka Chopra Jonas. And so in Pinky's case, she's gotten the opportunity to travel abroad, study abroad if you want, and so she's a little more worldly, so her views are not necessarily the views of her husband or his father. And so there's always that, you can kind of see the conflict between them because of that. I think as the story develops, we start to see that the three of them, Balram, Ashok, and Pinky, start to develop maybe a little bit of a friendship. But I think at the same time, both Ashok and Pinky, whether it's in play or it's just to kind of put Balram in his place, they always let him know that he's lesser, that he's a servant. As much as they may and try to enlighten him and give him other things to think about, he's always put into his place. And this film really talks about this idea of caste or class a lot throughout the film. Balram kind of knows that he is in a place where he's trying to rise above, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that he's got to overcome to get to that point. As the story develops, we get to this little twist that happens that kind of changes everything, the dynamic between them three and the family, and even the position of Balram if he's going to continue working for the family as a driver. And so as the story progresses off of that point, we kind of see how things kind of spiral out of control. And at the same time, we get the urgency for Balram to understand that he needs to get out, and he needs to get out now, or he will never ever get out. He'll never be able to outdo this class or caste system. And so as the film develops, it just kind of takes you on this journey that you really start to see or understand how desperate Balram is to make that next step. I would say that there's elements that for me made the film more interesting, and it was number one, and it was his performances, his acting performances. Balram, played by Adrash Gurav, does a great job. I think even in my research, I found that a lot of the parts that had the most tense scenes, he did that kind of off script. He was just kind of that dialed into his character, and he was able to, ad-lib enough to make the scene that much more poppy, that much more intense. I feel that the setting, the location of being in India and seeing some of the culture and just being enveloped in that arena was that much more interesting to me. Again, we see a lot of films that are taking place in New York and LA and Chicago, and so to see a film that was done in a different location was definitely very, very inspiring to me. I really like that. And I think also the stylistic choices throughout the film, be it in the soundtrack or even just visually, I think added to the film in those senses. So in the end, for The White Tiger, a 2021 film release written and directed by Ramin Bahrani, I feel that this film had a lot of elements that I looked for in the film. The stylistic choices, the soundtrack, but even more than that, I like strong performances. I like dramatic stories. I like characters that don't necessarily always have to be good, because these characters, each of them are off-putting in a different way. And then as you see how the story develops for Balram, you can kind of see like, okay, well, maybe he's not that good. Maybe I shouldn't like him so much. But I think even beyond that, just kind of like the whole package, putting it all together, it's rare that you get a film where everything, as a viewer, you feel is on point. So for this film, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I feel that this film deserves that. It's an interesting take. It's a take that we don't necessarily see. Obviously, setting and culture-wise, we don't see that so much. So that right there, for me, kind of really puts a nice little step up. I also feel that the performances were strong, like I said. Balram, Ashok, and Pinky, being that they were the ones that took up the most on-screen time, I felt that their performance needed to be the strongest, and I felt that they did a good job in that, especially in the tense moments. And for a film that's 2 hours and 5 minutes, I'm not complaining. I felt that this film could be even longer if they wanted to be, and I would be satisfied. So that has been my review for The White Tiger, a 2021 film release, written and directed by Ramin Bahrani. And if you like this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or maybe even a film that you would like me to watch and review, make sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. And then lastly, don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming posts. So again, that has been my film review for the 2021 film release of The White Tiger. So like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. I will see you on the flip side. Let's go!